Well, everybody, I'm going to give you a treat today. What I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to cook you some New Orleans barbecued shrimp and crabs. First thing I have to let you know is there's no barbecue involved in this whatsoever. We're going to go ahead and get started with the first thing we need to do is start the butter melting. This is a half a stick of butter, 4 tablespoons of butter, and we'll toss that in the pan, put it on, take some heat, so that we can go ahead and get that started melting, because it actually takes the longest. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our shrimp. What we've got here is going to be about a dozen and a half little medium to large shrimp. I prefer small to medium, but this was what was available last time I went to the seafood market, so they're a little bit bigger than I want. But they work just great, just that size. You just don't want real big jumbo shrimp. These you're going to really have to cut a little when you eat, but they'll do. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to take some good old Creole seasoning. Tony Chachere's here. You can use any type of Creole or Cajun seasoning. You know, just some good spicy stuff. Tony Chachere is what I use most of the time. I've got some Slap Your Mama that works real good, or just about anything else to season up your shrimp. Go ahead and season them quite well. I just season them on one side because I'm going to add some cayenne into the sauce, so I'll have that in there. Okay, the crabs we don't need to season because these are good boiled crabs, fresh caught and boiled, and they've already seasoned when I boiled them. You can use any boiled crabs you want, but just warning, please don't try this with steamed crab. I only tell you this because, you know, I hate to see when people end up getting divorced, and I'll tell you why. It's just real tragic. Okay, this butter's starting to melt. Now we're going to go ahead and add some of the other ingredients. We're going to use about a tablespoon of Italian breadcrumbs. Just to let you know, I don't normally measure things, so I just kind of do things by eye, but that we'll add in there. So that's just seasoned Italian breadcrumbs. We'll add another tablespoon of minced garlic. Get some of that good old seasoning in there, and kind of add that in there. Turn this down a little. You don't want it too low, but you don't want it to cook over. Now we're going to add 4 tablespoons of the Worcester sauce. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I'll stir that around. That gives us our good roux going. Get that in there, and then we're going to season this with cayenne pepper. You want to do this to taste. I do about 3 or 4 good solid shakes. 3, 4. Let's do 5 for good measure. But I eat a lot of cayenne pepper, so if you're not a big cayenne pepper eater, you may want to kind of lessen that a little bit. And then finally, the next ingredient I'm going to add in here is going to be some good old-fashioned sugar. I recommend just 1 teaspoon, but you know, I've got a sweet tooth, so I'll put a little more than that. Now we're going to go ahead and add our shrimp. What we're going to do is we're going to cook the shrimp on one side for about 3 minutes until it starts to get done. You get a little pink on both sides, and then we'll flip it over and we'll add our crab in there. So we want to get kind of on a medium heat, and I've got about 6 or 7 on my gas stove. You want to start cooking, but you don't need to cook super fast. Now I told you why I'd tell you a quick story about why you don't want to use any of this steamed crabs in a New Orleans dish. Well, this is a little story about a guy named Sir Crabs-a-Lot, who was from Baltimore, came down to Louisiana and met the beautiful Bonne Marie down in Fontenot, Louisiana, fell in love, and had to just, I mean, he had to move down to live with her. So he came down to Louisiana, and old Bonne was just a wonderful woman. She taught him all of the ways the Cajun Creole ways of the area, and taught him how to boil crabs and crawfish and so forth, and made sure he understood that he was never in her house to ever steam crabs in her house. She just would not allow it. And hey, she taught him how to cook this New Orleans dish right here that I'm cooking for you now, and he loved it, and he cooked it whenever she was there with some good boiled crabs. Well, one weekend, Bonnet and some of her friends went down to New Orleans for the weekend, and they go stay out in the French Quarter, have a little girls' weekend out. And while they were gone, Sir Crabs-Lot caught him a bushel full of crabs, brought them home, and hey, Bonnet Marie, or as he called her, Bonnet Marie, because he didn't know how to pronounce her name, she wasn't home, so he steamed the crabs and he started to cook the dish. Come Sunday afternoon, he had plenty of time to cook this and get everything done before she was there. I'm going ahead and flipping the shrimp right now, and then I'm going to add about a quarter cup of crab to this. Again, the crab's already cooked, so you're really more just heating it up than anything. So we've got this all flipped over. We'll add the crab, good old crab right here. And you can do this dish with crab or without crab, or for that matter, you can do this dish with shrimp or without shrimp. The other day, I had this with just a whole pot full of crab, about a cup of crab meat in there, and oh, it was good. It's good either way. But anyway, back to the story. So he's got the dish going, he's got the shrimp in there, and we got to this point where I just got, and he put the steamed crab in there. Now these were Louisiana Gulf shrimp, as are in this pot right here. They did not like the idea of having steamed crab put in a pot with them, so they abandoned ship. There was shrimp on the wall, there was shrimp on the stove, there was shrimp on the ceiling, there was shrimp on the floor, and Bonnet Marie just happened to walk in the house before Sir Crab-A-Lot could clean it up. And she, oh, what have you done here? You tear it up and you moved my beautiful kitchen. You've torn it up real bad. What's wrong with you? I know what you did. You done put some steamed crab in that pot, didn't you? And I mean, he was caught. What could he do? Sir Crab-A-Lot, he finally admitted, yes, I'm so sorry, dear. I won't ever let it happen again. She said, no, I warned you. I told you. You ever do that, I was going to send your butt back up to Maryland and just, no, that's it. No, that's it. Get out of my house. Well, she hauled him down to court, and the next day in the court of Sir Pierre Boudreau, she just explained, I just want this a marriage, no, just get this man out of my life. And the judge goes, well, what did he do that was so bad? And when she explained it, exactly what he'd done, the judge, oh, this can't happen. Sheriff, you take this man, you take him to New Orleans, you put him on that bus back to Baltimore, and you take all his assets. He can't come. He just forfeits everything he has. It's a sad story, but it's a true story. So just if you want to try this with steamed shrimp, just be careful. Okay, now this should be about done. What we're going to do now is we're going to simply take our dish and we're going to pile it into a good plate. And again, this was a single serving that we've done. If you want to do this for more than one person, you just double the ingredients, grab you another bowl. Now we're going to serve this up with some bread for dipping. Probably one of the most important parts of it. Put your bread around the sides. Oops. Kind of adorn your dish so it looks real fancy. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and give it a taste. That's so good. Get me a shrimp on here. And you just can't beat that. Well, y'all enjoy. Because I sure am. If you have any questions, just go ahead and put them below here. If not, let me know how you like it if you give it a try.